Hello, YouTube. How's it going? Um, it's not a dread update, but just something that's been on my mind, on my heart. I feel like talking about. Maybe this will help somebody, and that's ultimately the reason I do these things is in hopes that at some point I can reach somebody that needs this. But if you didn't know by now, I'm a Christian, and so I believe it is important in my life and in the lives of other Christians to do the best that they can to try and show people the glory and the beauty and the love of God and Christ through the way we live our own lives. And so basically, I'm just going to tell you guys a little story. About a few weeks ago, because of my job, I work with children, and I'm part of a nonprofit organization, and we have programs, and the particular program I work for is a teen outreach program, and so I work with youth within the city that I live in, the county I live in. And a part of the requirement of them completing our program, aside from what we have as a curriculum, is them getting community service hours. So one of the community service projects that we had a few weeks ago was to go feed the homeless at a location in downtown, not too far from here, where homeless people come and they get their medical information taken care of. They get items donated to them. They get food picked up, like baskets of food, and there's also a bus out there once a month on Wednesdays that allows for them to get their driver's license or like a personal ID, not necessarily a driver's license, but a Florida ID for forms of identification. Because if you're an adult, you understand that you need an ID for pretty much anything you do in this state, in this country. Aside from that, so we're out there doing good work. We're out there, giving back to the community. We're feeding people. We've made sandwiches for them. We had lemonade. We had some cake, and we're just giving food to the community. Nonetheless, I'm walking around because they put me in charge of handing out these tickets, and the tickets is like, so if you want to get a meal, you get a ticket, and then when you come up to the table, you present your ticket, and that's how you get your meal. So it's a validation of the meal, whatever. And there's like homeless people everywhere, and there's some sitting like closer to the parking lot than where we are located. So I walk over, being the person that I am, I walk over and I'm asking anybody. So, because I'm about to offer up seconds. People have already eaten. For the most part, people are already asking, hey, can we come up and get seconds? Can we get another sandwich? Can we get... So before I allow people to get more food, I want to make sure everybody ate. So, I'm walking around and I happen to spot this guy. And I'm asking everybody, you want a sandwich? You want a sandwich? Do you want any food? And some people are no. Some people are, yeah, man, could you bring it for me? No problem, no problem. And I see this guy. And he's in a general area where everyone else is at, but specifically by himself underneath a tree at a distance. And so I come up to him and I say, hey man, and he seems like really distraught. And I say, would you like some food? And he like almost immediately started to cry, and he was like, oh, I don't have any money, or I guess he thought I was trying to sell him food. And so I said, no man, I got these tickets. You can bring your ticket up, and you present it, and you get your food, you get your sandwich, your cake, and your drink. And he's like, oh, you mind bringing it to me? I said, no problem. So, I go get the food that he wanted. I brought it to him. Very appreciative. Then he asked me, do you have $1 or two that I could get? I said, sure, man, no problem. I'm a very giving person, If people ask, I try to do my best in my ability to give. Because in all reality, I personally could give a damn about money. Money to me means nothing, simply because money is security. Money allows you to do what you want to do when you want to do it in this world that we live in, and it's structured in that format. But for the reality of the life that I live, for the truth of the fact is that I could pass away tomorrow, tonight, right now, this very second as I'm making this video, and all the money that I have and everything that is in my name will not go with me. It will all stay right here in the physical realm. So for me to give money away to this homeless man means nothing to me, because I do this on a regular basis. And I give him like, I think like $4. And then he's holding on to it. And he's looking at me. And he's holding on to it and he's looking at me. And he's like shaking his head. He's like, no, here, man. You take it back, you take it back. And I'm telling him, like, look, like that shit doesn't mean anything to me. Keep it, trust me. And he's like, but it means something to me. And I say, I understand that, so I'm giving you the money, because to me it doesn't mean much. It means a lot to you, so take it. And we strike up a conversation. And in this conversation, I realized that I'm presented with an opportunity to say something to this man beyond just having a conversation with him, but to say something to him spiritually. I feel inside of myself that there's this need for me to stay still. So I take a seat and I talk with this man. Mind you, because remember I told you guys, he's not like, there's people close to him. So like if I'm sitting right here and maybe, if, 7, 10 feet away from me, there's another person, but he's not immediately next to anybody. And everybody else that's out there, surprisingly enough, is next to people, directly next to people, like, talking to people and having conversations with people, or even sitting by themselves, but directly next to you. He's the only one who's completely by himself, isolated. And he just seems to be distraught. So I feel this call on my spirit to talk to him, and we're striking and we're conversating, and he opens up after a while and he says, first of all, we got to know each other on a first name basis. And he keeps bringing up the fact that he's like, yo, you're so nice. He's like, you're just very nice. He's like, nobody's nice like that. And I'm just trying to tell him, I'm like, look, man, I want you to understand something. Like, I found God a few years ago, and ever since then, like, my entire life, my entire outlook, the way I treat people, the way I speak to people, not that I was ever a rude individual, not that I was ever mean. I've always been very humble. I've always been very giving and caring. And I'm a very empathetic person. I feel for other people's pain. Always have been. But since I've become saved, I realize now that there's a reason for me to be that way. That it's not just who I am as a person, it's my purpose as a child of God. And so, nonetheless, I'm sitting there and we're talking, and he starts to tell me, he's like, man. So he tells me his name's Rusty. Rusty's got these bright blue eyes, dude. Like, bright blue eyes. And so I'm looking at him in his eyes, and I'm having a conversation, and he's like, man, I'm just such a piece of crap. He's like, I'm an alcoholic. I'm going through the hardest time of my life. He starts to cry, and he feels bad about it. He's like hiding his face from me, and he's like, I'm sorry, man. You're going to make me cry. I'm sorry. We're talking. And I'm like, yo, Rusty, you don't have to feel bad, bro. Like, it's okay to have emotions. I know society wants you to believe that you don't need to have emotions, especially as a man, that you have to be this pent up person who feels nothing, who's just stone cold. And it's bullshit. Like, there's a reason why you have feelings. There's a reason why you feel highs and lows and ups and downs, and good feelings and bad feelings, and hurt, and a need to cry, and a need to laugh, and a need to enjoy yourself. There's a reason you have feelings. That's what keeps you human. You can't desensitize yourself to the point where you feel like you can't convey emotion. So I'm telling him, I'm saying, man, it's cool. If you got to cry, bro, cry. You just finished telling me you're going through the roughest time of your life. I don't expect you to be smiling. I don't expect you to be stoic about that. I want you to convey how you feel. So he then cries more, and our conversation gets deeper and deeper. And I bring up Jesus, and he tells me how he loves Jesus, and that he doesn't understand. He tells me he's been searching. He doesn't understand why God still has him alive. He feels like he's ready to give it in, like he shouldn't be around anymore. And to me, I took it as he's getting ready to commit suicide, or at least been having thoughts about it. So I'm trying to tell him, and the first thing I could think to say is, and this is what I tell him, I said, Rusty, look, I want you to understand something, bro. And I put my hand on him, and I said, I love you, man. I love you. Like, seriously, I love you. And the look of bewilderment in this man's eyes struck me. It struck me, and I can't even really explain it to you guys, but nonetheless, he's looking at me as if to say, like, how in the fuck do you love me, man? You don't even know me. And I kept saying it. I said, Rusty, you're loved, man. I love you, bro. Like, I love you, brother. Like, I'm here for you. I want you to understand that I love you. I want you to know that you are loved, that you are greatly loved, and that you have purpose, and that you're here for a reason, and that you feeling like you down and out is just a way of building you back up. Like, you got to understand that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So he wouldn't put you through anything that he wasn't going to be able to pull you back out of as a better man, as a stronger man, as a more upright man. I said, but you know what? You can't be coming. And so he's asking me for answers. He's like, yo, so what, and I'm telling him, I said, Rusty, for a lot of these questions, I don't have the answers. I said, but what I do know is that you need to turn to God. You need to turn to Jesus. You need to give that to him. Give all that weight you carry in your heart, all that pain and agony that you carry within yourself, give it to Christ. And he'll, more than I can ever, more than I can provide, more than I can give. He will solve all your problems. He has infinite, undying love for you, and purpose and plans of prosperity, and to give you a future and hope and life. And I'm telling this man that. Long story short, we have like a 30-40 minute conversation, and I'm just continually trying to speak life into this man, basically, is what it comes to. I'm continually trying to speak life into this man. And in that moment, I found myself feeling like, I don't know, it felt like a little victory. Like, like, yeah, man. If at the very least, nobody ever told this man that he was loved, if at the very least, nobody ever let this man know that somebody was here for him, that he had purpose, that he had a reason to be alive, that there's a reason he woke up this morning because somebody else did not, then I felt like I accomplished something. But then here's what's crazy. I walk away for a second to go give somebody else some more food because, mind you, I'm doing community service, so I can't spend all my time talking to Rusty. So I tell him, I'll be right back, Rusty. And I go and I see, make sure everything's okay and everything's going well. And as I come back, I got a sandwich in my hand. Like, as I come back, I got a sandwich for him to give him another sandwich. Because, these are homeless people. I don't know if they eat every other day. So I'm trying to give them as much as I can. And when I come up, it literally hasn't even been 2 minutes, people. And as I come up, he's gone. He's completely gone. I don't know where he went. And then I start to have a conversation with another man who's very close by. He's an African-American man. And he starts to talk to me very spiritually. He says, man, I was listening to you. He says, I want you to know, all you could do is do what you just did and instill life and try to do Jesus' work and God's work as far as letting people know that they're here for a reason, that there's no such thing as accidental, life, and there's no such thing as that. Everybody's purposed. Everybody has a reason for being here. And then he starts to tell me, man, the devil knows your weaknesses too, though. He knows you're generous. He knows you're giving. He knows that you see people in pain. And it kind of struck me because I started to think, like, I need to be more aware. And not necessarily sit here and say that I'm judging or I'm looking, no. But just spiritually, I need to be more aware. It made me really think about my own discernment as to what things in my own mind and heart are genuine and what things in my own mind and heart are put in my path to make me stumble. So anyways, I just wanted you guys to, I wanted to tell the story, but more so I wanted you to know that when you find yourself presented with certain things in life, just take a second to think. Take a second to discern. Speak to your spirit, speak to the Lord, and ask yourself if you are being fooled or if you are being used in that moment as an instrument of God. And I generally believe that I was put there to help Rusty. But I also believe that Rusty showed me a lot about my naiveness and my and how gullible I can be at times. And so, I still, like I said, I still believe that in my heart I did a good thing, and that I hope and I pray, and I've prayed for him since then, that I was able to help him in some way or form. But more importantly, I feel like he showed me a lot too, And that's the thing about it, people. Never go into a situation where you feel like you're helping, but it's only one way. Always realize that as much as you can teach, you're also receiving a lesson. And so in that, what I experienced was a two-way. It was a double-edged sword. I feel like I was giving and speaking life into a person, but I also felt like I received a lesson from the second conversation I had about discernment and about the ability to tell when you need to step up and do God's work and when you need to be wise enough to realize that you're falling into a trap. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I didn't mean to make this too much of a long video or anything like that. I hope you guys, if anybody's watching this, I hope I was able to help you or you got something out of it, because that's the only reason I do this. So y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed. God bless you all.